How you guys doing? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of A Day in the Shop with me, Jimmy, making it work. We have got a really poor week going. We've been busy, working all day, bell to bell, but just not producing the hours like we used to. I think I've been averaging like 7 or 8 hours a day because all really weird jobs that one problem or another, like the transfer case on the Jeep, frozen bolts and all kinds of silly stuff. And some shortcuts I've tried haven't worked, like on the BMW and the Jeep. I tried shortcuts, had to undo all my shortcut work. That adds a little time. Like a lot of things, if you're doing something the first time, even if you're an experienced mechanic, you're really trying to figure out where you can cut corners, where you can't, what you have to do to get the job done. And the first time you do anything, you're learning. So the problem is, there's a lot of first times this week, a lot of first times lately. So there's not much you can do except keep on keeping on. What we're going to do is find a way to make things work, have some fun, learn some things, get some people back on the road, maybe even this BMW. We got quite a bit of stuff going on. So not much has changed. Things kind of look about the same as they have the past few weeks, but I'm going to bring my screwdriver inside, put it in shop. It goes back in my toolbox. Let's get in here, grab our racetrack coffee and our lottery tickets, which that's our retirement plan. Gotta have a plan. And we're gonna get this day fired up. I'll make it worth your while. We're gonna get on that 71 Corvette water pump, maybe an emergency oil change. We'll see. There's gonna be stuff happening. It's gonna be worth staying tuned. Let's do it. First things first, a high performance big block Corvette. It has a lot of like leak and valve cover gaskets and stuff like that. We've got it all written down for them. We're going to go at it one at a time. If you didn't see videos on this car prior, but for now we're doing a water pump, and I got to get this bracket and a couple other little things out of the way. Everything else is ready to go. Most of the coolant's drained out of it. It's still going to spill some, but we have reduced the mess we'll get. Now I'm going to get this bracket off the front, and then we can see what else is in our way. I got my hood light down here just to help, so I don't have to use this light for everything. It's really hard to see because the hood's in the way. It's one of those jobs where you wish the hood opened the other way. Some guys will remove them, but we ain't messing with that. Might as well pull the alternator out of our way, since it's only 2 bolts. You gotta almost do it anyway. I didn't disconnect the battery, so I gotta be mindful of that battery post. And we'll just set it like this, out of our way, and I can see stuff. That's a lot better. Now you can actually put power steering fluid in it. I had to get to the power steering earlier. When I first checked this car, it was empty. And you have to get it with it under all these brackets and stuff. I don't know why back then they didn't want to angle the can a little more, but they used the same pump for every car and just dealt with wherever the cap was. This has to come completely off for me to get the the hardware off the water pump. So I don't want to drop the spacer if I can avoid it, but I might have to. Get my socket back. See if we can get this off here in one piece. Not sure if it's going to clear. I might have to take the power steering pump off. That would be silly. But back in the day, men were a lot tougher. Weren't such crybabies. Grab some needle nose. Get them oriented right here. There you go. Bolt. Ah, I knew I was going to drop it no matter what I did. Should have just thrown caution out the window and let it fall in the first place. There you go. Luckily it's a steel spacer. Back when cars came with 4-speed transmissions and no power steering or brakes. They were options back then. People stayed trim and fit just because they were driving. Kept them in shape. Let's see here. Should be the only thing holding it in. I got the other bolts out because they were the easy ones. Oh geez. None of the others are that tight. Don't break, please. Careful what you wish for. Jeez Louise, doesn't feel right. This one's a larger size. Alright, I'll get my impact on. You got it. I hear you. I hear you. Is the battery low in this thing? Yeah, halfway. You guys know where we're going. We're 550 foot-pound Milwaukee. Let's make sure it's going backwards. Yep. Max power, max battery. Make sure it's on tree. It's on tree. 550 foot-pounds, we're going to snap it right off. Oh, it doesn't fit because of... That's a shame. I was looking to really be impressed. Let's try it on the other one. Maybe that'll reach. Told you it was spinning right out of there. It's a beast. Look at that. No thread sealer. And it's been in there a while. Let's get the right angle. See if that's got some strength. We haven't used that in a little while. Let's see if the right angle Milwaukee Impact's got what it takes to loosen an already loose bolt. Oh man, Milwaukee really impressive this morning. If you haven't switched to Milwaukee Power Tools, what are you waiting for? It should just be held on by stiction, I think. Let's see. Lower hose. Lego my ego. I'm gonna clean some of this up for the guy. Get this thing show car ready. I gotta scrape off the old gasket material from the block. Transfer this, there is of the studs. One stud's missing. I kind of like to get new studs. It'd be cool if the water pump comes with them. We'll see. And you also have to transfer over this heater tube. At least back in the day, they didn't come with that. If they're pretty corroded, you can get them at the auto parts store most of the time. Hopefully not chrome. Never use chrome engine parts, by the way. Unless you want coolant leaks and oil leaks. Chrome is for show, not for go. Just my experience. I've tried it. Like the chrome thermostat housing, it'll leak coolant. The chrome air cleaner, it'll leak air. Well, that doesn't matter. But like a chrome timing cover, chrome oil pan, chrome valve covers, they'll leak. Unless you get a really good premium silicone style gasket and not corked. So, alright, let's get that new pump, see what it looks like. Ooh, yeah. AC Delco. Comes with gaskets and the wrong heater pipe adapter. I mean, it would work in a pinch. Just a little short. This will go on the top, I think. See what that one looks like once the hose is off. Uh-oh, the emergency red folder got a headlight out. The Corvette will have to wait. The headlights were staying on for a little bit. It's got that delay to let you get in the house. Tell you what, I am getting my glaucoma treatment. That is for certain. Woo boy. I don't want to get a DUI if I have to drive somewhere. I gotta get out of this car. 2018 Impala. Got a headlight out. What the heck? I just put it in service mode. It shuts them off for service mode. Oh, I'm 10 minutes in. I haven't got anything figured out yet. What the heck? Let's go like this then. Start it up. Good Lord, man. He must have just been smoking before he got out of the car this morning. Isn't it early? It's like drinking and smoking before 9 a.m. Isn't that like forbidden or something? I don't know. Some of these you got to take the bumper off to get to the headlights, which I told him I would look at it and let him know. Some of them are right there. See how easy that is? It's a big deal. He said something about fuses blowing and replacing fuses. They blow again. I'm going right to the fuses. I learn easy. How many miles are on this car? It's pretty clean. 140,000 miles. Jeez Louise. 140,000 ganja miles. Hey man, whatever makes you happy. My only problem, I've said this before, smoking while you're driving is no different than drinking and driving. Let's see. Headma, Lightma. I'm going to find this headlight fuse they're talking about. We'll take a look at the bulb if we can. We might have to take the air box out to get to it, and we'll see. 49 and 50. And once you know where 49 and 50 are, you can say, well, these two fuses, this fuse looks new too, but it's working. And the headlight's not. So the fuse might have nothing to do with it. When you're stoned, everything makes more sense. Maybe that's my problem. I need to get all up in the... Oh, the bulb's not even in the housing. What I'm going to do is... You got to be careful too. Some of these are really high voltage. So, let's set up our meter. They have little transformers, these power modules, and they step up the voltage. So I'm not seeing any voltage to the lamp. So that module is probably the issue. These are the grounds on the sides of the bulb. See the kind of... What are the odds of touching that when someone pushes the horn? I'm like, did I beat the horn? It's impossible. You never know. Some people just beat the horn for fun. I don't have any voltage here at the bulb. What you can do is pull the other one out and switch them over. But it's not as easy to get the other side out. You could also try plugging in a new bulb and see if that fixes it. But I'm headed towards a module being a problem, which is probably part of the headlamp assembly. That's why it's here, most likely. Because once it's expensive, they're like, how can you bypass it? That's the lady yesterday wanted us to modify her 2022 Hyundai, or I think it was a Kia Stinger. She wanted us to make her aftermarket LED lights work with resistors and cutting the wiring and stuff. We told her what it was going to cost, and it was still too much money. I said, buy an OEM lamp and you'll be done. That's $900. Well, you'll spend $900 putting aftermarket junk in it that in 6 months it won't be working. But like a lot of things, once someone decides something, you can't talk them out of it. They have to talk themselves out of it. The X120 connector is supposed to be over here. I don't see it. The problem is, the fuse is powered. That tells me the low beam relay is working. The fuse is good. Power's coming out of the fuse to the headlamp. So unless the wire's broken, the ballast in the headlamp or the bulb are bad. Since I don't have power at the bulb, most likely the ballast. It also says not to put a voltmeter on that like I did, which I never heard that before, but in any event, I think it's got a bad ballast. They want you to switch it from left to right and all kinds of stuff and see if the problem moves. And I don't know if we have time for that. It's probably cheaper to get a ballast for it. I'm not sure. We'll see if the ballast is $1,000. Then I'll tell them, let's just switch them from side to side, see what happens before we order it. And we'll go from there. The wiring diagram, how it works. The high beam is a white wire to X120. The low beam is a yellow wire to X120. And the ground is at X120. And it's in the fender. So you can't get to it without basically taking the bumper off. So that's the connector looks like if you can get to it. Those are my wire colors, black and yellow for the head, for the low beam and that kind of thing. And we verified this yellow wire goes up to that 15 amp fuse we verified is good right now. And the fact that fuse blows intermittently tells me that ballast is bad, because that's normally what blows the fuse on these based on experience from before. But I'm going to see what they want to do. If they want to get a ballast, we'll probably change the bulb for good measure too. Or if they want to try switching parts, if the ballast is really expensive, we'll do that. Whichever one's the most economical way to pinpoint it, that's what we'll do. Matter of fact, the flow chart says replace the bulb. If the bulb doesn't fix it, replace the ballast, as long as you have power on the yellow wire and ground on the black. That means it's getting to the lamp, right? So there's only two things left. Not really so complicated. The only complicated part is getting access to it. It also says, because this is such high voltage and all, to always disconnect the battery before you work on it. So you have to disconnect the battery, swap over the parts, reconnect the battery, see if it worked. Pretty time consuming, but we'll see. I'm going to talk to him, see if we go any further. I gotta figure out how to get this cap on. It's complicated. I had all kind of plans for a sweet unboxing ceremony, but someone unboxed it already for me. Valve cover's here. I'm gonna push that Colorado up behind us, but I feel compelled to clean off the gasket surfaces first. I don't know why. Just so I feel like I'm halfway and I'm ready to go back together when I get back to it. Waiting to hear on the Impala. Talking to him about replacing the ballast versus moving it. I think you have to buy the whole headlight assembly to get it. At least that's what he was thinking. I haven't looked, but this is cast iron, so you can really go hog wild now. No worries about hurting stuff. You can still gouge it, but just not very easily. And get this cleaned up. Get the guys help me push the collar up behind it, and we'll work out in the parking lot. We gotta do what we gotta do, man. We gotta get a 20-hour week going. Well, save him a few bucks. He's upset. He thinks I put the hole in the valve cover. I don't know how I would do that. But anyway, it comes with the gaskets and all, so that saves him the gasket set, which is probably 50 bucks or something. I'm not sure. Comes with new seal, spark plug tubes, although that looks a little crooked. I don't think this one's like fully, I don't think this one's fully seated. Maybe it is. Yeah, you know what? They all stick up a little bit. Okay. We're going back together. The lighting's going to be really terrible out here, but I'm going to move my hood light up here, make it a little better. We'll do what we can. I'm going to give him all his old parts back so he can review it for himself. Carry on. Don't dwell on it. Get this out of here. This goes on the right side. I don't want to touch that positive though. If you didn't see that video, that's the hole from inside. I got to put a little RTV where you see these little squares, because there's a seam, and then we can drop this on, start going back together. We already torqued the cam and all that when we did that the other day. I think it was Tuesday, a couple videos ago. Just real quick the other day, I sprayed down a rag with some brake clean and go over it again. Doesn't take a whole bunch. This even comes with the PCV valve and breather. That's why it's $400 or 350 bucks, whatever it is. Pretty easy You realize you gotta take the vacuum pump off, huh? Now this is like a lot of valve covers nowadays. This is aluminum at least though. So. But you gotta start from the center bolts, work your way out, and then go to the outer bolts, work your way forward and back. So you don't overstress anything. Let's put it that way. I won't even say the word. All new bolts and everything. That's fancy. This thing can be so fast. I'm probably not even going to be able to keep it straight. It's going to be working that wheel, pushing buttons on a laptop. It's going to be fast. There's thread lock on all the bolts, by the way. 89 inch-pounds. I still got to put the vacuum pump in, but I feel compelled to put the coils in. I don't know why. Take it for what it's worth. Doesn't matter which way you do it. Those bolts tighten up in no time. Just be like, pow! New O-ring on that, of course. You know, you got to put new O-ring on it. Trust me, we're going to get to the vacuum pump soon. I'm just not looking forward to it, that's all. This goes away. This goes somewhere over here, I remember. Oh, it goes this way. Oh, you know what? This is the front. Yeah, I can put that in too. It won't be in the way. That's why I have to put the vacuum pump in. And to do it, I got to climb up there. If you didn't see it coming apart, you got it. There's 3 bolts in the back. It's a lot of fun, trust me. If you're familiar, you know why I'm procrastinating doing it. Clamps on. That's for later. I'm not going to put the dipstick in yet because I don't want to break the plastic. Let's tighten those bolts on that bracket. And then the vacuum pump's going in. I should get a shorter sock. But I don't want to. Alright, no power tools for this part. This comes with new bolts too. So that's cool. We're going to have some leftover bolts. It's got a screen for the oil. I'm going to get a mirror and see how the cam's facing. Otherwise, you put it on, you got to turn it, put it on, take it out, turn it, put it on, you know, until you get it right. I got to get the oil cap off the old valve cover too. Almost forgot. It doesn't come with one of those. So, it is, I don't know if you can see that from there, about 10 o'clock. If it's close, at least you can get it started and turn it to get it to drop in, right? Some of you guys might know this stuff. I do it mostly to be clear about what my goal is ahead of time, and so someone that doesn't have a lot of mechanical experience might be attempting this themselves. I hope it helps somebody out. I'll do it up here. Not any of that. Pulled myself up, cut my finger, pulled the gasket off, and ripped the button off my shirt. Sweet. Oh, maybe I didn't cut it, just felt like I did. Oh yeah, I did. Alright, nice. No, I felt something happen. That's why I was procrastinating. Sheet metal gasket is like a razor blade, and I got to get this hook caught. So, you basically have to push the bolt out. Push the bolt out. Put the gasket on. Push the bolts back a little bit. Don't want to go too far. I'm going to bleed all over the place here on this thing. Hope it's not too deep. Moving on. Yank yourself up before. Oh, it's bleeding pretty good. I'm going to put a Band-Aid on that or something, I guess. Ooh, it's a pretty good one. I got myself pretty good. I talk wop, 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 wop. Let me get a Band-Aid on it so I don't bleed all over the guy's new valve cover. I was cutting a weird spot on an angle under the nail here. About 3/8 of an inch long. So I did what I had to do for now. Let me get this guy's truck back to him. See if we can put a smile on his face. The two outside ones aren't too bad. You gotta be careful where you put your hand nowadays. All the plastic breaks if you lean on it. Now it's just a matter of going back there with a ratchet and a 10mm shallow chromie. I'll be back in about 15 minutes after I put it here. And this has got a pretty fine 120 XP gear wrench, but for 120 teeth, it's got a lot of back drag. You'd think it'd be a little more gentle than that. This is the time when a snap-on ratchet is really nice because they have really low back drag, but this ratchet that's 30 bucks is like 190 from snap-on, 170 or something. Anyway, I'm going to tighten this up and we'll come back. One more will go over here. Dipstick, heat shield, and air box. And we should be out of bolts. The oil level's good. Got a drop right here though, we don't want that. I'll grab that air box. Pops down on the little pedestal down here, and there's a bolt here and a clamp on the throttle body. You gotta pop this in obviously, and then fire this thing up. Engine cover first. Alright. A bolt over here. Oh, we lost some coolant. Remember that little steam tube in the front of the head covers through the valve cover. So we lost probably, I'd guess, a little less than a half a gallon of coolant, a little over a quart. We'll see. This is concentrate. So I pour half of it into an empty and fill them both with water. We got 50%. I'm gonna let that sit a minute, see where it's at. I'll fire this thing up. But it's running good, so that's good. Now we gotta let it warm up, verify the coolant level, clear codes, and a little road test. All right, no codes, come back and look at this. Woo, we got power brakes. We fixed one, yay! They've been dropping like flies lately. At least one repair every day. Before we get back on the Corvette, we got us a brake check on a Corolla. I said, what? Is everybody busy? This one's going to be easy. I don't understand. He didn't mention the low brake pedal. It's got like half a brake pedal. And he says he hears grinding. I bet he does, because I bet a brake pad fell out of somewhere. I mean, the pedal's like... So, it has some pedal. Anyway, let's get it up and take a look. I think it's 145,000 miles. Like a 2012 or so. 2013. June of 2013. Could even be 2014. But let's look at the brakes and see what's up. Looks like it got hot. It's got either a stuck slide or a caliper dealio, but I'm gonna say slide. See the gap in the between the caliper and the pad? See that gap? I could basically put my pocket screwdriver in there. So that means when you let off the pedal, the caliper's relaxing, and the slides, one of the slides or both of them are frozen, and only the piston is putting the brakes on. So it's a shame. It's got a huge lip here too, where from where the pad's dragging, but the rotor looks like it used to be new. Let's get the rest of the wheels off. Look at the other side, see what it looks like. A little closer, but I mean, honestly, not quite halfway. So it depends how long they've been on there. If they're original brakes, he's got quite a bit of time left. The big problem's in the front. He said it's metal to metal, but I don't see it. I do see brakes that are getting silly hot. Some uneven pad wear. And a gap on this side too, between the caliper and the pad. So I'm going to open the bleeder and see if it relaxes or does anything weird. If not, it's mechanically frozen. If I open a bleeder and it relaxes, then I know the brake hoses have an issue. Not sure what that's from. I didn't get a squirt of fluid. Didn't make any difference here. So this is mechanically stuck. Slides or pistons. Now I can go further and try to move it and all, but when it got this hot, this was glowing red. Needs a caliper either way. Most likely phenolic pistons. They don't take the heat well, and when you try to push them back, it'll be crumbling. You can't take responsibility for another brake failure after you're done. So it's going to need calipers, rotors, pads. Rear brakes, I'm going to say, are borderline. It's up to the customer. At least clean them and adjust them. I don't see any issues with the hoses as far as dry rot, cracking, or wetness, or anything like that. So they don't appear to have taken any damage. But it got hot. That's no doubt about that. And that's why the pedal's soft and low, because when they get so hot, it'll actually pull in air as it cools to cause a squishy pedal. Let's see what happens with this one. While we're waiting here on the brake job on the kill roller, I cleaned up my bolts on the wire wheel a little bit. Some of them are not in that great a shape, but we're gonna rock it. I also found a stud in my toolbox. I'm cool like that. So it had one bolt and 3 studs. At least now it's got 4 studs. They're not exactly the same, but they're close. I use my little stud socket. You've seen this before? It can damage the threads if they're really tight, but you can just run a thread chaser over them afterwards. But it's got like a clutch setup. It grabs the stud to tighten and loosen it. Pretty cool. I got a whole set of them. Super handy. You don't need them often, but another one of those tools, when you do, it makes life a little easier. Get some. I got the gaskets glued onto the water pump a little bit. I asked about painting it orange. He said don't worry about it. That makes me a little sad, I gotta be honest. I might even just take a little black Put a piece of cardboard here and spray a little black so it doesn't turn to rust color. Anyway, I'm gonna get some thread sealer for these. I remember this one being on the top on the driver's side because I had to get a bigger socket to do the bottom one. This is the same size, 9/16. And I really wish I could paint this orange. I gotta put this one stud in a little more too. I thought I had them all pretty even. It won't matter if the bolt nut bottom's out, it'll tighten it more, I guess. Put a little fix-it-all in there. I don't like it either, but we do what we gotta do in this world. As you guys might know that I'm watching this channel a while. I'm gonna make it work one way or another. Got a little fix-it-all on those threads. Decided to put it in afterwards while the gasket's dried on there. This is a 7/8 wrench too on this one. You don't want to go too crazy on the rubber. I think I've mentioned that a couple of times. Especially when it's not soft, but it's not, you know what I mean? Got my belt. And I got my pulley. Let's see here how we're going to do this. There you go. I thought it was going to be harder than that. I'm going to put all of the components on. I'm going to drop the fan in there last. And then we'll start tightening stuff. Furious Mustang GT guy. Alright, I got my water pump belt set up with my socket in it. When I took it apart, this is all fumbly. I'm hoping I can fit it. Pull the power steering pump back to get a little more room. We'll see. Oh, I can't see anything now. Oh, there we go. That's better. All he's worried about. Man, not a lot of room. I might have to put this water pump pulley back on after doing this, because it don't want to fit. Older cars are so much easier to work on. I'm gonna give it one more college try before I take it all the way off. Holy way up, sure. Yeah, it fits right in there. What's the problem? You gotta put a washer and a lock washer. And I gotta put a nut all over it. I don't think I've ever messed with one of these before. I wonder if all the big blocks had it, because I don't remember seeing this setup before. And I don't want to tighten it too much. Just want to tighten it enough. I think I got a waiting oil leak diag to look at on an old Honda. Mm-hmm. 116,000 miles, 2012 Honda Accord. Another shop told me needs a head gasket. He's waiting for it. Doesn't, I know. Doesn't sound like it goes together. Trust me, it does. Looks like it's got a new valve cover gasket on it, but it's leaking. There's oil everywhere. All new alternator. I pulled this cover off because I saw oil on the bottom of it. Oil coming from here. Oil, the valve cover is just covered in oil, like someone poured oil all over it. What the hell? Very unusual. Oil down the back. Look at the intake bolts. Uh-oh. That's Arago type stuff. We can't fix that. I guess I'm gonna have to clean it and figure out if someone just didn't clean it after they did a valve cover gasket, or is it actually leaking now? It's got silicone. Oh, you know what? I bet you someone pulled the valve cover off, put silicone all over the gasket, and put it back on without a new gasket. Big no-no. Get a broken plastic. So I'm gonna look underneath real quick. Got a new belt too. I'm gonna look underneath real quick just to see if there's nothing like a drain plug leaking. Problem when a valve cover leaks, especially this bad, there's oil all over the place. It's hard to tell. I'm gonna definitely have to clean it off, but I want to peek underneath first. And rest assured, it needs some tars. Oh my goodness, Becky. Look at that mess. There's oil everywhere. I mean, I know the valve cover and the, it looks like the high pressure fuel pump housing, I guess. Just soaked in oil everywhere. So I'm gonna clean it up and run a little bit, but if he wants to fix it, we got to get on the ball for today, since he's waiting and stuff. So I'm just going to clean it up and run it a little bit real quick, and we'll see if we can spot something other than that. It's just weird that there's like oil on the top of the valve cover. Someone spilled oil and it had a valve cover leak. Said he just had the oil change, and they told him it was leaking, and he did notice he's got oil in the driveway. I'm like, I bet you do. Your whole engine's wet. Anyway, I'm gonna clean this up and we'll run a little bit, see what we come up with. Needs a couple tires and some other things. I don't think it's been tuned up. We're asking them about all that. They wrote on it with a Sharpie. That'll be gone in a second. Customer's watching me with this 2020 Mercedes. He's getting ready to buy it, doing a pre-purchase inspection. 2020 luxury SUV Mercedes, 69,000 miles, the absolute worst time to buy one of these vehicles. But I'm not going to talk him out of it. He did say that he hears a bunch of funny noises when he's turning, and it's doing some weird things, so I have to look a little closely at their front end and stuff, wheel bearings, things. In the parking lot, it was going kunk, 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 kunk when I was turning the wheel, but it felt almost like an ABS thing. Very strange. 69,000 miles. 100 and something $1,000 new. It's worth about $15,000 now. What could go wrong? Seems like a nice enough guy. They bought it at Carvana. They got 7 days to give it back if they don't like it. So it's a post-purchase, pre-purchase inspection. Seemed like a nice guy though. His name's Nas, like the rapper. I told him, do the tires, see if that weird thing goes away, because it's all-wheel drive. They don't like the uneven wear. And then he may need to service the diffs in a transfer case afterwards. Super expensive vehicle to maintain. They're not 120 like I guessed. They're like 80 something thousand. Not nearly as expensive, but I think he's going to take it, and if they decide to keep it, come back for the tires another time. And I think I got approval on the valve cover gasket on the Honda, and they want it done tonight, so I need to get on it. I got multiple waiting customers, and this thing apparently has to be done tonight. I don't know why they gave me another waiting customer done, but that's all right. I can do it. I can make it work. I know one thing. Got to start on it to finish it. There's 5 bolts holding this little plastic cover on. 5 bolts for little plastics. All it does is cover the coils. I'm not saying Honda over-engineer stuff, but do you need 5 bolts on that? Maybe you do. And you're all right. You know that? I try to be. What a mess. Someone poured oil all over this thing, or someone ran it without the oil cap on it or something. All I know is I'm going to have it, the valve cover gasket will be due. That's all. This job today. I'm not going to get the Corvette done. They're telling me I'm only going to work on a Ferrari next week because the guy's not worried about the Corvette. I'm like, well, that's all I really did today. I think the oil change guy's going to have like 95 hours if he gets done with the boss's cars this week. Good for him. I mean, you know. It's It's funny at the same time as it's not funny. You know what I mean?
And the other noise out here.
That is a really sad story, Joe. Really sad. Oh, you know what? I think I have to disconnect the... Oh, this bolt's not in here. I didn't take it out. Someone put an alternator and didn't bolt it back together. That's all right. Now, do I want to be a rule breaker and do this without disconnecting the battery? And then post it online? Oh my God. The firestorm it will create. I might get likes and subscribes that I probably don't deserve. So I'm going to definitely do it. Just saying. Oh, there's another bolt missing. My goodness gracious, did they put any bolts back? I think that's a 12. I already have my 10s out. A couple of clamps. Valve cover's easy. Almost falls right off. That's why it's only 0.9. You get that harness out of the way off camera so no one freaks out. The arcing and stuff is nothing to worry about. We got fire extinguishers, don't worry about it. This just slides out of here apparently. I'm going to try to find some bolts for when I go back together with the alternator, but for now I'm pulling the curls out. You guys need to be better, man. I know they're screwing you and giving you half what you should get paid, but you still got to do it right. Wait a second, why would that matter? Why would you still do it right? Give them their money's worth. Half-ass it. They half pay you, do it half-ass. There's nothing wrong with that, really. Just seems right, right? You got to do it right, or don't do it at all. Do something else instead, that's all. I need an extension to get back there. Some of these are only hard to get at because the wiring harness is in the way. Other than that, they're not bad. For you. Good for you, whoever did it, guy. Oh. The RTV Assassin. So you gotta be careful about. Rubber gaskets don't really like RTV except where something in a joint below it, like here and stuff. It wasn't really stuck. It was on top of oil. Silicone on top of silicone. That's not gonna work. You do have to put it here where this gap is and here where this one is, but you got to take the old stuff out first. Now I got a little bit of a mess to clean up. It's not a good look. Surprised it didn't go down to royalty for evaluation, but we got it. We're gonna fix it, don't worry. Old silicone back here. There's no silicone over here, and old silicone on both sides over here. I don't like throwing guys under the bus or girls under the bus, mechanics under the bus, but I definitely don't want to do it just to get content. But you know, I'd much rather see that the gasket had moved, and that had happened, and it's a mistake. When you don't even clean the old silicone off, you just honestly don't care about what you're doing at all. And you probably shouldn't be doing this. And if you don't know any better, now you know. If you don't know any better and you still do, I mean, if you do know better and you still do it, find a different job. They make us all look bad. I know that it sucks that they don't pay very well. That's something we'll deal with down the road, and it's going to get better, I hope. Once they run out of bodies to do this work, they're going to have to pay. So eventually, if you're young, don't panic yet. Try to do it right and try to learn and try to make a decent living, knowing that eventually it's going to get better, I think. Now, if you do spray, sometimes I'll spray and it'll get on the cams when you're brake cleaning and trying to get all the nasty stuff out. You got to be real careful with it though. And if I do know that it's hit the cam, I'll put motor oil on there and not put the cover on for a good 20-30 minutes. So I know it's basically evaporated. The stuff evaporates really quick. But it's not good on the cam lobes to completely wipe the oil off of them and then fire it up dry. You got to put oil back on them if you do spray them down by mistake. I think we're in pretty good shape here. Definitely get these corners good because it's a big source of a leak. This is like one of the worst engines Honda ever made. We were just talking about that off camera. If there's an engine people that own Hondas regret, this is it. They're not perfect, but on average, they're one of the best. Them and Toyota, on average, are about your safest bet in the auto brands. Of course, they're all fighting us in the right to repair stuff. The automakers are all spending millions, pooling their money to make it so the aftermarket can't fix their cars. Kind of a shame. They want you to have to go to the dealer so that they can control prices and charge you even more. You'd think that they're screwing their mechanics now and they're expensive with the customer. Once they have a monopoly and there's no options, what do you think's going to happen? You think it's going to get cheaper and they're going to pay better? Nope. So that's why the right to repair is important. Even if you like going to the dealer, you have to support the independent repair shops just for the sake of competition, for both the pay and customer service. So, all right, let's dress that new valve cover. We got new, look at this. What the heck? Bolts missing. I hope it came with bolts. Nope. That's a bummer. Let me let them know and see if we can come up with a bolt for that thing. That's going to be bad. Floating around, it's not going to seal because the seal on top has to be seated as well. We found a bolt that doesn't have the shoulder on it, but as long as I can pull this seal up to the valve cover and hold it tight, I think we're going to be okay. And you got to put it comes with little tiny gaskets for the bolts too. It's not that Honda wants it to be complicated, it just is. Not on purpose. Joe had this bolt. I was teasing him. I said, I'll be so impressed. So he's like, are you impressed now? That's awesome. Anyway, this was just done at Pep Boys, by the way. Battery, alternator, and a valve cover gasket like a week ago. I used to work at Pep Boys, did I tell you that? They didn't want to pay. And somehow they still went bankrupt. I guess the executives all absorbed all the money. And I actually wrote a letter to the vice president of Pep Boys about the situation in the shop, the way we were treated and stuff. Never even got a response. He never even told me, hey, I don't care what you think, bye. Just nothing. So I left after 10 years. And they went bankrupt 5 years later. Not because I left, but I'm just one of probably hundreds. Mostly the good mechanics left there. They don't understand what happened. We all know. We know what happened. They changed the seals, it looks like, but not the washers on the bolts. You can tell because they're rusted. See how rusty that is? I'm not sure if it shows up. It's supposed to look like this. It's funny, one of the last years I was at Pep Boys, you know, the executives they're taking big fat performance-based bonuses and how awesome they are, and they literally getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in bonuses and retiring with big giant, what do they call them, parachute packages and stuff. And they offered me a 35-cent raise. I said, if you need the money that bad, you keep it and I'll go work somewhere else. That's what I did. When I first started working there, I was paid $14.28 an hour, and I thought that was pretty good at the time, because the labor rate was, I don't know, $42 an hour or something. It was a long time ago. But, you know, I guess it was 30% of the labor rate. It wasn't really that much. I had 2 certifications. By the time I got done with my certifications, I got my master's certifications while I was at Pep Boys, and I got up to like $20.50 or $20.75. That was in 2000 I left. I worked there from 91 to 2000. I was a month or so short of 10 years. Reminiscing, since this was at Pep Boys last week. I sprayed this thing with brake clean twice and it's still covered in oil. Get that rubber gasket in here. We'll drop some RTV in the seams and button this bad boy up. I had to scrape RTV out of these channels too. You don't want to, if you put RTV in there to kind of help hold it with the stiction, the adhesion of the RTV while it's wet, you can kind of get away with that. But don't like set it on a workbench and let it set up, because if the gasket's not pushed in 100% of the way, the RTV will actually make it leak rather than helping you out. It's got to be wet when you put it in, or it's got to be seated 100% into this, which, I mean, honestly, you really can't seat this 100% because it gets completely compressed like this. So all the way down. Good. I'm gonna drop these bolts in here next. You just toss them in. Now all you got to do is torque them. "89" labs. Watch your head. Alright, coils, a bolt in that. And we're just about done. Bolt goes through both of those. He said they did the battery too, so I said, let me look a little closer at that. Oh my goodness. No matter how hard you try. Oh, you know what? I know what happened. See the arrow? That goes forward. I bet you. Because it's further down in the front. I hope it wasn't a professional that did this. It was one of the managers. You guys know managers have no idea what they're doing. Managers are managing because they can't do. Just kidding. It's not always true. It's still funny though. I don't think this turns. That's the problem. Ow! That's the problem. See if I can free that up. I'm gonna go over to the workbench. Got 10 minutes left in the day. I'm going to be working late for a 30-hour week. That'll be cool. I'm going to put this in the bench and the vise in the back. See if that'll spin. I don't know what's going on in the industry. Nobody wants to work. Boom. Let's fire it up. Must be a beautiful oak tree. Well, I took it out of my front yard. You turn on your wipers and acorns and oak leaves go across the windshield. I don't think so. It's all done. By the way, I did find a bolt for each of those spots. Makes it feel a whole lot better. Ta-da! I'm not trying to brag. It's the sad state of the world. See, some guys make an absolute mess in a customer's car, trying to do right. And open the other door and blow it out this way. It puts you in a tough spot, honestly. It's not like braggadocious, but basically just doing something right stands out now. It shouldn't be that way. Trying to do something right, take pride in your work, that's shouldn't be exceptional, should be standard. But I don't understand it. A lot of people just don't care anymore, I guess. I don't know what it is. And it's not everybody, and it doesn't, generation doesn't matter, none of that matters. Each individual person decides for themselves whether they're going to take pride in what they're doing. Doesn't matter what your occupation is, your sex, none of that stuff matters. Take a little pride in what you're doing. Doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be the custodian at a small motel. Take pride in what you're doing. When people leave, they should go, man, that place was nice, kept pretty clean, you know, that kind of thing. I don't know. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Anyway, enough of that. It's the end of the day. A little bit frustrated, having a really hard time getting hours. And I was trying to get the Corvette done because that's like an 11-hour job between the transmission and the water pump and a couple of little things I got to do. I was hoping to get it done today, but they didn't let me work on it. So now I spent half the day on it, and it won't go this week most likely because they want me to work on the Ferrari tomorrow. And if I don't get that done, I will be not making it work. We got a couple people back on the road. We got some things straightened out, and that's what really matters, right? We'll be okay. Let me know what you think in the comments, though. Don't hesitate to drop a comment. Torque the like button on your way out. Don't forget we have an Amazon store, a Sticker Mule store if you want to get a shirt. But all that aside, more than anything, hope I see you in another video, because you're awesome.